JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 6th of April 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session, a live session. Unfortunately only for today and tomorrow, but nevertheless guys, yeah, I'll try to squeeze some happiness at least in this. Now then guys, before we jump into the charts, we need to quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which is also updated on a daily basis. So yep, check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then guys, jumping into the charts, the first one on the pickup here is Nikkei 225, and it felt the heat yesterday. So yesterday, as you know, the US indices declined, and mainly on kind of the Fed officials' remarks around way too high inflation. Which, to be honest, I mean, it's nothing new. Everybody knows that. It's just that I think that the market needed some sort of a little trigger to kind of, you know, to sell off, to go down. But either way, for now, as I mentioned before, that if we drop below this 27,604, 600 zone, then yes, we will aim for the downside. We'll aim for that 21-day EMA, for that upside line here, taken from the low of the 9th of March. So yeah, for now, everything's kind of working according to the plan. We are testing. Or should say, we have already tested the 21-day EMA. Can we see a rebound from this 21-day EMA or this upside line? Let's wait and see. If this upside line gets broken, then I'll keep an eye on, and this is where probably it needs to be adjust here. Another put another level here. Just bear with me one moment. So yep, this area right here, this 27,076 and 27,000 mark. So in general, if we do drop below that 27,000 mark, then yes, we could maybe go for some lower levels. At the moment, if we draw a Fibonacci here from this low on the 9th of March to this high of the 25th of March, we'll see that we have dropped below that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. We reached the midpoint between the 23.6 and the 38.2, and now let's see if we can actually travel all the way to that 38.2. But the 38.2 is near, like I said, just slightly below that that 27,000 mark. So in other words, this idea kind of could work out nicely if we do eventually drop below that 27,000 mark. So let's see how all this is going to play out. Now jumping into the Shanghai Composite. So it's open, and yeah, we moved higher. We drifted nicely to the upside here. We're still trading. We still have around like 50 something minutes of trading left. So let's keep an eye on that. And at the moment, everything's looking quite positive. Interestingly enough, of course. But again, let's not rush into anything. For now, yes, I'm still keeping an eye on that 3,280 zone. If we somehow manage to stay above it, then I will go. Yeah, I'll continue aiming higher for a larger correction here to the upside, because we have this downside line here taken from the high of the 13th of December, which could still, you know, be in play. So either way, guys, at the moment, yes, everything is looking quite interesting here, unlike on, for example, on Nikkei. But I would say the markets might end up maybe consolidating for now. So yes, on the Shanghai Composite we have something like this. We have something like of an ascending triangle here. We violated the upper side of it, so now we just need just a move higher. Just a move higher. At the moment, we do have this upside line, which could support this idea. But if we start dropping lower and if we fall below the below this little hurdle here, this 3,226, that's the low of the 1st of April, or in other words, the current lowest point of April. If we drop below this, then yes, I'll consider maybe a bit of a decline here. However, if we do drop lower, my next target will only be this one right here. Let me just put this one on the chart with this one right there. This 3,159 or 60 zone, because what I want to see here, or I should say, I want to see here if we're gonna get a somewhat of a range later on. But again, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. But yeah, let's see what's going to happen here, because at the moment the markets are kind of undecisive. I'm talking about the equity markets. The indices are kind of undecisive because on one hand you have an issue with the Fed, because I mean, of course, it's no secret that the Fed will be raising rates soon. On the other hand, we have the geopolitical tensions, of course, in Europe. However, if those somehow, shed some light or in general, if we'll see some sort of a bit of light in the end of the tunnel, then yeah, markets could quickly reverse nicely, or should I say pick up the pace and push strongly to the upside. So again, it's a bit of a headline game right now, guys, so it's probably the easiest way is to just kind of sit around and watch this, and yeah, try to position yourself, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Now, jumping into oh, by the way, I can see Carl H. Yes, good morning to you too. I hope you're having also a wonderful start of Wednesday. I hope everybody else is having a wonderful start of Wednesday, guys. I hope, like I said, you're all doing fine. Now, the German index, DAX, and yeah, this downside line, yeah, continues to provide resistance. In a way, of course, the fact that it's still trading below that downside line, of course, means that further declines are possible still. And however, as I mentioned before, I know that we could be missing out on a bit of territory here, but to be honest, I would prefer to see it drop below the 14,100 area first, and then we could go lower. At the moment, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one here. So if you're looking for some upside, yes, the fact that the 21-day EMA is providing that good support, that's great. But yeah, I mean, we still need to see some sort of a violation, maybe around here. Previously, I talked about this 14,745 level. Probably now I will just keep an eye on this 14,600 zone. And if we do pop above it, then I'll go for some higher levels, because in a way, we would also be breaking this downside line. So a lot of things, it could pile up nicely here. The S&P 500, so quick update. Again, yeah, it drifted back down. So this barrier, I talked about this. So this barrier did provide good resistance, this 4,595 zone. Then we drifted lower and we tested that 23.6. So now then, what else? What's further here? To be honest, I'm really careful here, because yes, we might see a bit of a rebound again, maybe, because at the moment, I'll say it this way: if we continue to trade above this 4,525 zone, which is the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci here, if this area somehow continues to provide good support, then yeah, we could see a nice rebound and a push higher. At the moment, but even then, if we do push higher, this is another thing to consider, because we do have a potential maybe triangle here, but again, this is a descending triangle which tends to break to the downside. So in a way, there's some downside pressure here. So if we do drop below this hurdle, this 23.6, this 4,525 zone, then my next target, it could be this 100-day EMA together with that 21-day EMA, or even that 38.2. Again, there's, like I said, some confirmation breaks are needed before we could, do something about it. And for the upside, if we do break this downside line and we push above this 4,595 level, then I'll start going higher. This arrow probably would need to be redrawn this way here in order to reflect a little bit of a better picture here. But again, as I said, for now, I'm keeping an eye on this, and I want to see what's going to happen with this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. Quick update on DXY. Boom. Beautiful move to the upside. I talked about this, guys. If you remember from the beginning of this week, last week, I said that if we climb above this 98.40 zone, my next target is the upper side of the range. And if you're considering, higher levels, then, well, a break of that upper side of the range would be needed. Well, we got that. So I would say mission accomplished here. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to aim for this little hurdle here, this 99.97, or in general, I'll aim for that 100 level, the psychological 100 level. So I think everybody's aiming for that right now. Beautiful textbook range here, beautiful breakout here. And if you remember also, I kept on saying that the prevailing trend is to the upside, or was to the upside. That's why when it's entering something like that, the possibility for this one to break higher, for example, it's higher than the breakout to the downside. So again, we got that. Everything worked out perfectly according to the TAs. So now let's see if we can reach that 100 level. Gold. Gold is feeling the heat just because the US dollar is on the stronger side right now. However, as you can see, it continues to squeeze here. It's trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 10th of March. It's forming this descending triangle, of course, yes, but we are still struggling with that 1918 zone, so we need that clear drop below it in order to go for lower levels, guys. At the moment, I'm just watching this because, again, how many times we've seen this one, let's say, working out not according to the TA rules. That's why, and it's gold. So yeah, of course, there are more factors leaning towards the downside than the upside, because we also, not to mention this descending triangle, we also have this little head and shoulders pattern. But a confirmation break is still needed, guys. So keep your eyes on that one. WTI oil, so initially pushed higher yesterday on reports that the U.S. The U.S. will need some more oil from Canada. That's why Canadian dollar strengthened, and I'll pick up on that later on. But the prices quickly reversed back down, just because investors kind of came across the idea that at the moment, I mean, although there is demand for supply, but demand for oil, but the supply, or should I say, the oil-producing countries will tap into their reserves for oil, their oil reserves to kind of compensate the shortages. Now, in a way, I would say at the moment, probably be very careful here. At the moment, it's a kind of again, it's also a huge headline game right now. So yesterday, as I said, the report came out, that they will need more oil from Canada. Great, oil pushed higher, but then everybody kind of understood that, okay, there's going to be still enough supply, and there we go, the price went down. So at the moment, let's put it this way, I'm just looking at this one right now from the technical side, and as you can see here, we're also kind of getting into a bit of a squeeze. So if you're looking for some lower levels, a drop below this 101.60, or actually, sorry, this 98.55 level, 55 level would be needed. For the upside, I would probably need to see a push above this 108.70 zone, somewhere around here, just to be a little bit more safe with everything here. LTC USD. So of course, the stronger dollar is not helping the cryptos that which are against the US dollar. So yeah, the crypto pairs, which are against the US dollar. So yeah, we're seeing Litecoin and some other cryptos, of course, drifting nicely to the downside. However, looking at Litecoin, we're still kind of balancing above this downside line. So not a huge, if we do drop below this downside line, now that's where, yeah, probably more concerns could, come in with in terms of the upside. But at the moment, yeah, everything is looking quite interesting here in the crypto world. Let's see if we can actually rebound from this downside line here on Litecoin. AUD USD, quick update on this one. Yesterday, if you remember, I talked about this level, the 0.7645 level, and we managed to reach that. Not only that, we managed to overcome it. So what's going to happen next year, or I should say what could happen next year, as I said before, as long as we stay above this 0.7530, or actually 0.7540 zone, if we stay above it, then yes, we could see some more higher levels. If we drop below it, then that's where maybe we'll consider a bit of a retracement here to the downside. So keep that in mind. USD Cad, so very, like I said, as I mentioned before, this is my second most annoying pair, but nevertheless, I still look at it. So just to see, what's happening. Still, curiosity is a killer. Yeah, at the moment, I would say we are consolidating. Of course, the fact that you can see that yesterday the Canadian dollar got stronger. Of course, that was mainly driven by the news that Canadian oil will be required. More of Canadian oil will be required. But like I said, the market participants quickly got around everything, and there we go. Boom, we traveled back up, and of course the US dollar rose as well. So all that kind of piled in into a nice effect here, a nice false breakout, another false breakout. It's like we don't get enough of those, but hey. It is how it is. Still, I'm at the moment I'm just observing this one, because if we need to see a drop below the 1.2450 zone, then yes, we'll go for lower levels. For the upside, I need to see a push above this 1.2530 zone, and then yes, we could go for some higher levels, and maybe again, because ideally I would prefer to wait for a push above this 1.2587, but we could already start looking at some higher levels. Actually, if we push above, somewhere above this 1.2540 area, that's the high of the 1st of April, the current highest point of April. So yeah, if we do move above it, then I'll go for maybe slightly higher levels. GBP USD, quick update on that one. GBP USD is drifting to the downside for obvious reasons. US dollar is getting stronger, and we dropped below that 1.3089 zone. I talked about this level. If you remember, I said that if we move below it, then my next target, yes, is somewhere roughly around that psychological 130 zone. And at the moment, it seems like we are heading in that direction. Can we reach that area? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. For now, I'm leaning towards the downside, of course, as long as the pair stays below the 1.3089 zone. If it stays below it, then yes, I'll go for lower levels. Now, in terms of the upside on this one, probably this is where we can adjust a few things, and I would say if we do move above this hurdle, this 1.3167, yes, more buyers could join in here. Now, Eurocad. Now, as a request from Evo here, so Eurocad. Now, I haven't looked at this for quite a while, but let me just adjust a few lines here. As you can see here, it got some of it got violated. So the more important thing is that we dropped below this lowest point of March, near the 1.3674 zone, and we're still trading below it. So in a way, yes, we could still see further declines. And now, if you're looking for some further, let's say, levels to the downside, then let me just zoom out here, and this is where probably I need to jump into a monthly chart. It will be much easier. So yeah, you can see on the monthly chart, yeah, we drifted lower here, and we're now kind of targeting something around here. Yes, there we go. So this 1.3522 zone, that's what I'm going to be aiming for. That's the lowest point of June of 2015. In general, if you kind of drag it a little bit further here, you'll see that yes, it was a very strong area of support, although we had these false breakouts. But in general, yes, at the end of the month, it kind of stayed above it, and then from here it reversed higher. So this is going to be quite an important level. We might overcome it, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be quite interesting to see how it's going to end up at the end of the month. Now, will it be something like this as we had here, you know, like in April or May? But let's not over speculate here for now. Like I said, I'm going to aim for that level, and this 1.3522 zone, that's going to be my next target. For the upside, now you can see I've drawn a bunch of downside lines here. I mean, all of them are tentative, but nevertheless, this one right here, it's very, very tentative. I mean, it kind of coincides. I would say like this, that if we travel above and stay above the 21-day EMA, this could increase the chances for a possible kind of move higher here, and we could see this Eurocad kind of pushing to the upside here. But again, as you can see, the 21-day EMA did provide good resistance recently, so that's why I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one. Euro JPY. So this one's quite interesting because in a way we probably could be forming somewhat of a bullish pennant pattern, or a bullish flag or something like that. But again, on the other hand, the counter argument for this one, maybe this is actually going to be seen as a descending triangle. So it could break out to the downside as well. However, at the moment, that's what I'm looking at. And if we do pop above this downside line, then I'll go for some higher levels. At the moment, guys, I'm just observing this one and really not doing much with it. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So of course, Euro is getting a beating. Stronger dollar, the geopolitical tensions in Europe, everything's kind of piling up here, in all this, and the Euro USD bears are probably enjoying the moment right now. But in general, if you remember what I was talking about this pair, I said that if we break this upside line, then yes, I'll go for lower levels, especially if it also drops below the 1.0945 zone right here. And it did drop. It did drop, and it's traveling now towards this 1.0891 zone. A nice good clear break below that, I mean, may lead to some further declines. And as I said before, my next target is the lowest point of March. Now we are getting that clear break already. However, will the pair stay below it? So we need to kind of see what's happening here right now. And to be honest, I would say I'm still leaning towards the downside, and my next target is the 1.0806 zone, and then we will take it from there. If by any chance this pair travels back up and climbs back above the 21-day EMA, because I need to get rid of this upside line here, if it travels back above this 21-day EMA, then I will we'll start considering maybe the upside. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes, your comments. Really do really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Tomorrow, just again to remind you that tomorrow there will be a live session. On Friday, unfortunately not. So yeah, it is how it is right now, guys. So I do apologize for the little inconvenience. But either way, thank you very much for joining in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.